Going back to our top story this morning, a London-based South African expat is on a mission to get South Africans stranded in Ukraine back home. Hayley Reichert is urging those who are still in the country to get out as soon as possible, and she's willing to help. Not just South Africans, but all foreign nationals, especially those from Africa who want out. Hayley joins us now live from London to tell us how she plans to do this. Hayley, have you just been watching what's happening on the news and trying to figure some way of helping rather than becoming an armchair expert on the Ukraine?
Hi, eNCA. Thanks for having me. Yeah, obviously we've all been watching, quite concerned, knowing that there are South Africans on the ground, as well as other African nationals. And a friend of mine, Lorraine Blau in the Netherlands, also a South African, called me up on Thursday evening and said, I need your help. And we contacted Kim Kerr. She also was part of the team helping with repatriation that we did back in 2020 when we had 20,000 South Africans stranded around the world. The three of us have put our heads together, and we are working directly with the ambassadors in Ukraine, Poland and Hungary, and the South Africans directly on the ground, assisting them with logistics of getting them out of Ukraine onto mainly Polish and Hungarian soil.
Hayley, how receptive have ambassadors been in countries such as Hungary, Poland, etc., surrounding countries from you to Ukraine, to your offers of help?
I have to give credit where credit is due. The South African ambassadors have been absolutely hands-on. They've been fantastic. We've been speaking to them daily. Yeah, I really have to commend their efforts. They have been really good. Although I do have to question DIRCO in South Africa. There seems to be some sort of confusion. The ambassadors have been fantastic, but I think I was sent two links. Tembi Modise, I believe there was you guys did an interview yesterday where she was quoted as saying there's no actual evacuation plans. And then obviously our ambassador, Andre Groenewald, last night said that they are fully engaged. So the ambassadors are fully engaged. I'm not so sure about DIRCO in South Africa.
So as far as you're concerned, and the offer of help that you're trying to logistically organize, how are people getting out and what countries are taking them in?
So most of the bordering, it's mainly Poland, Slovakia, Hungary, Romania, Moldova. But Moldovan airspace is closed, so most people are just transiting through Moldova into Romania. We know of two South Africans that went that route into Romania. We've had a number of them pass on the various border posts in Poland. There are videos surfacing, and we did have, we were quite stressed about some of our South Africans crossing yesterday at Medica. The Ukrainian police were prioritizing Ukrainian women and children, then foreign national women and children. The foreign national men started retaliating. One of our South African young men was there. When they started breaking bottles and retaliating, he decided to turn around after having walked for about 8 hours to get to the border. He then returned to Lviv. He is making his way from Lviv down to Uzhhorod to another group of, there are 7 South Africans, 8 Zimbabweans, and some Indians as well, and they are deciding at the moment whether they are going to go through Slovakia or Hungary.
It sounds, you know, when you're stuck there, you just don't know where to turn. How are you reaching out to people and getting in touch with them and trying to offer the help that you can?
So we are posting on as many South African Facebook groups, reaching out on Twitter, asking all the South Africans abroad and everyone back home if they can please share, ask their communities if they know of anyone in Ukraine or anyone who has managed to cross borders, just so we can try and account for as many of the South Africans as we can. We do believe there may be between 200 to 250 South Africans, 150 to 250 Zimbabweans. We know I am in contact with someone from Swaziland, someone from Botswana, and we believe there are Namibians as well. We are very worried about the eastern side of the country. We have 2 South Africans. One has a wife and a 4-year-old that are in bunkers in Kiev. They cannot go anywhere. We are hearing rumblings of thermo-geo weapons being brought in there. We know of a South African doctor who is in Odessa. It's a no-go zone. If you walk outside, you will be shot. We have 2 South Africans and the Botswanan. They are students in Sumy, which is right near the Russian border. We have no way of getting them out. The only way is a very strong plea to Naledi Pandor and our president to, whilst they still have a good relationship with Russia, to ask, there are apparently 200 African students in Sumy, if they can get the Russians to assist with military assistance to get them through to Moscow. We have an amazing South African, Victoria Maseho. She initiated the South African International Students Association. We've been working closely with her, supporting the students. She would welcome them, and if we can get our Russian students and other South Africans that may be in Russia safely out of Russia as well. The other thing with students is a lot of these guys have been studying in Ukraine and Russia for a couple of years. There are some that are due to complete their studies and graduate in the next couple of months. We put out some feeds, some potential leads that we received last night. We have had the chair of UNESCO at Glasgow University, who's fully supporting our motion to get these guys to remain in Europe, in safe countries in Europe, that they can complete their studies at English universities and write their exams at these universities over the coming months. We do not want to send our South African students home empty-handed without degrees. We know many of them come from impoverished areas, and we know that many of them do not have the funds if they get to South Africa. If we are trying to fundraise for flights for people who will be going back home, but if they go back home, that's their dreams gone. And we know what the situation on the ground is at home because of the last couple of years. We would want to try and support these students as much as possible.
All right, Hayley, thank you so much for all the work that you're doing just out of the goodness of your heart. It seems that I really do take my hat off to you, and yeah, keep going. Thank you so much. That's Hayley Reichert, a concerned South African expat who's trying to help South Africans and people from other African countries to get out of Ukraine.